But yeah, look, guys, welcome to episode 17 or 18 or 19, or I'm forgetting the episode numbers. We need to be more professional, but of the DayZ podcast. And this week, along with Val, myself, and Brim, we have Jakub, who was fantastically was the community manager for DayZ for a while and just brought us laugh after laugh after laugh. But you've now moved on, mate. Are you allowed to tell us what you've moved on to? We have our theories.
Oh, yeah, I heard some of those theories. I'm probably going to have to disappoint you, but I haven't moved anywhere within Bohemia. I have actually moved on to an entirely different project.
Yeah, our theory was that you moved on to Arma 4.
I heard that theory, yeah. Consider this debunking that theory. I'm not working on Arma 4, no.
Oh, so it's a top secret project you're on.
No, not really. It's not a secret project. It's I've moved from video games to video game software. So I have, like, let's consider it a chance of a lifetime or something like that, like a super cool opportunity. So I'm building my own community right now, yeah.
So it's a big change of what you were doing then.
Not really. No, I'm still trolling people on Twitter.
Because, mate, after the last couple of years with DayZ, you know, it was really, really sad for a lot of us when we lost Brian, Eugen, Batty, Martin, Peter Nespesny, all in a very short space of time. You know, Dean Hall was bad enough way back when, but that was, and, you know, people kind of understood that. And then we just had bam, 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 and it went downhill. Yep. And it was, you know, we used the analogy, I think, Brim, of DayZ was almost like the poor old dog at the door that everyone kicked on its way through the house. And then all of a sudden you came in as the community manager, mate. And everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? Just single-handedly, you helped revive, predominantly on Twitter, but that's mainly where I follow DayZ, is on Twitter, not so much the forums and that. But were you doing the same on those other platforms?
See, like, it's difficult. I try to, but each platform is very specific. So I try to do the same thing on Facebook, but Facebook is much more toxic, and I mean, there's no point hiding anything at this point. But this approach is not applicable to every single social media, right? So I very consciously chose Twitter to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, like, exactly what you said is true, and I felt it when I arrived, because people were very conscious about, like, their relationship with the community. They knew that there were ups and downs in the past and so on, and there was almost like this dread, and I felt like this needs to change, and I hope that my successor, which is also my good buddy, by the way, Scott, probably heard of him.
Yeah, but he's only temporary, or?
I don't know. I think right now they're saying it's temporary, but, like, I know him and I know that he gets the kick out of it. So we are very similar in this sense, So we also used to live together, so I know the man very well, and you guys are going to, like, have a lot of fun with him as well.
That's awesome. That because I think it was you, Brim, who first highlighted the change of the Twitter account, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it was like maybe the 5th or 6th episode we did of the podcast, I think. And I just remember logging onto Twitter one day. I mean, I've pretty much got it open and logged in 24/7, but I remember opening it up in Google Chrome and going, hang on a minute. Someone on the DayZ Twitter accounts put, like, a really sarcastic but really good response to one of the community moaning about something. I thought, well, hang on, what the fuck is this? So I clicked it and I was like, someone's had access here. This is brilliant. So I posted it in the agenda, and obviously we spoke about it then that following weekend. And yeah, I think we've turned it into a regular segment of the podcast now, the little sort of the DayZ Twitter watch, and sort of sit here every week and spend 10-15 minutes laughing and joking and having a good time reading the responses from you on Twitter. So it's You know, it's given us something positive to put out into the world. And like Boydie said, prior to that, it was pretty much almost dead, to be honest. You know, the DayZ Twitter account it would retweet the odd thing, and it would put out the very generic company response of, you know, we are looking into this, we hope to have it fixed as soon as possible, you know, very professional responses. And then suddenly one day it's just switched round to becoming very personable and feeling now suddenly like it's back to being part of the community again, which is what it used to be years ago. And I think that's an absolutely brilliant thing, and I can only hope that the guy that's doing it now can can sort of keep that going, because it's a really positive part of the community now, and I love it.
I think that the important thing is that people in the DayZ team saw that this is working and that people are enjoying it, and they will try to replicate it in the future, you know. So I think that there will come some real good out of it.
Because it was amazing, wasn't it, Val? Just to see some life, and you know, so many of us have stayed loyal to DayZ over the years. You know, I've got mates who I played with way back when DayZ Standalone was first released, and they're like, "Why do you still play it, Boydie?" And I said, "Yeah, there's nothing like it." On this show we call out, you know, the faults that DayZ has, but at our core, every one of us and everyone who we have on is a DayZ fan of some sort. And Val, it was just outstanding to see. And Scotty certainly gave us hope that he's going to keep the vein up with last week's The Hardest Cock in DayZ.
That was... Yeah. I'm like, this is fucking cringe. But yeah, you guys enjoyed it.
But Val, it was pretty good, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, I think it's obviously been a new direction in many ways, and I think that helps, because I think part of the abuse that was kind of aimed at the DayZ Twitter account in the past, I think sometimes, even though I'm not justifying it because they're obviously dicks, but I think that often it's ways to diffuse it, like just kind of give it a bit of banter back, and I think people are starting to feel a bit more included. And even though, again, like I said, they're obviously dicks, but at the same time, I think for me, it's just it does seem to diffuse some of the toxicity that they're getting on Twitter to some extent. I think it's positive.
Yeah, I think that humor is an incredibly powerful weapon, especially when you're working with a community that has been through a lot, you know. And if you're choosing this approach and are, you know, the conversation is not super serious all the time, it only encourages the members of the community to do the same and to have fun and to go to the Twitter to not only get information, because, like, of course you have to present some sort of information every time, but they're going there also to see their favorite brand, their favorite game interact with others in like, you know, jokey way.
Batty was probably the last shining light we had. She was amazing. She just had such a great personality, and she really did pour her heart and soul into it. You know, she was a DayZ fan from way back. What about yourself? What was your relationship with DayZ before you started on the project?
Oh, there we go. Oh boy, I was dreading this this question, because I haven't been like a massive fan of DayZ in the past.
Yep.
I have played it in the past, but really, like, you know, when I started doing this job and I heard like all of you guys talking about like, hey, let's meet there and let's meet there and let's meet there, and I'm just like trying to decipher the fucking, you know, names of the towns and so on. I'm that guy. I'm a freshie, you know.
Yep.
And I was actually learning the game as I was learning the ins and outs of the job. So like, your podcast has been a godsend, because like, at least I figured out a lot of things that are happening in the community and so on. But I also was able to learn more about the game itself. So yeah, I wasn't very experienced DayZ player, but I grew into it as I was starting to work as a community manager here.
That's awesome. That is. Like, it just goes to show you don't have to have someone who's a fanboy. It's obviously good if they know, but I think probably our favourite tweet of yours was the one at old mate from Mixer. That was the one where he was. He said something to you. Did a post about an update.
He was asking for it though. He was asking for it,
and you just came back with it. And you could always stream it on. Oh wait, oh, but he took it to his credit. He took it well, didn't he, Brim?
Exactly. exactly.
Oh,
And that's super
it was
important.
phenomenal.
It was.
Absolutely phenomenal, and like you say, he took it all in good stride. That guy as well. You know, I think I must have sat there for about 20, 30 minutes after I'd seen the tweet, and just reading through all the replies of everyone
Yes.
like, "Oh, you got roasted," and the guy who got roasted being like, "Yeah, no, fair enough, he got me on that one," and
Yeah.
like. The fact that someone would take that the way it was intended as a joke and as a bit of a laugh rather than getting hurt by it, I think that just made it so much better as well. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. But this is what makes a good joke as well. The other person being able to recognize that it's a joke. That there have been a number of cases where I was trying to have fun with somebody, and they were like, "How dare you talk to me like this? I'm a customer." No, but seriously, like there is a very particular type of a person. I don't want to say the nationality because it's usually this nationality, and they're like, "Oh, I'm outraged, you know, like I'm a customer, you cannot talk to me like this." And this happened as well, but you don't get to see those failed interactions because they don't get like viral, you know. People don't retweet it and so on because there is a negative person involved.
I've actually got a bot in my chat that has only two accounts on it, and that's the DayZ account and Asmondian. So every tweet you guys make comes up in my Twitter stuff. I've just got it popping up now. So
it's a very good company, by the way. His tweets are gold.
Yeah, Asmondian is. So many of us have said that DayZ needs to hire that guy and just get him to make those little charts that he does for the general public and do them through the official account or something. Because he's the sort of person who everyone, like Wobo. Wobo was another one, and Wobo's coming back. I don't know if you know who Wobo is.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, Wobo was universally loved, so much to the point that they raised nearly $30,000 for him to help him with caring for his mum, and people like that. I think we talked last week about it'd be great if the DayZ Bohemia Interactive worked closer. Obviously it's risky. Just getting if they came to me, I can be more of a hindrance. We all know what I'm like on Twitter at times. But someone like Asmondian, he's just fantastic. The stuff he does is next level. The quality he does.
But maybe this would be a good topic for a little chat. Do you think that this is something that DayZ should be doing and revealing all these mechanics that are there and that he is presenting through the infographics? Because I feel like part of the charm of the game is that you have to find that for yourself and actually go and be part of the community and engage and make friends and so on. Yeah, that's why, I mean, I'm going to give you an example because I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls games, right? Very different from DayZ, of course, apart from the difficulty. And I think that the success of the game is partly because it doesn't tell you shit. You don't know anything. And you have to go on forums, you have to go on Twitter, you have to go on YouTube, and you have to search for videos, and you have to become part of the community to actually understand what the fuck is happening. Yeah. And this is an incredibly smart way to grow your community and to create people who are super engaged in the lore and and the world and so on.
I actually do agree with you on that. So in some essence, it's probably best that Asmondian just continues doing what he's doing.
Exactly. I think that he's exactly where he should be.
Fan content. Yeah. Yep. Same with Wobo and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to have to quickly jump off of this screen to see what the next topic was. Foxy Pote's tweet, which was kind of sad. Just waiting for it to load up. But Foxy, I don't know whether you know Jacob, he's one of the guys behind, does a lot of stuff behind the scenes for the podcast. He's basically almost like our resident fax man, our researcher. And he's never been on the show despite asking. But yeah, he said a lad I work with, his dad has just tested positive for coronavirus. He lives at home still and he's been in our group at work, so have been working with him every day. He's getting tested tomorrow. Hopefully it comes back negative. So I don't know. Brim, do you know if he's updated from that?
I believe he has. Yeah, I believe he put something up saying that the guy that he worked with, that he thought might have the virus, has now had a test and come back negative. So I think that should, in theory, be an A-OK on that one with any amount of luck. But obviously, we'd have to wait and ask Foxy himself, I suppose, when we next speak to him. But yeah, I think everything's okay. So, and I mean, that's only a good thing.
Fingers crossed for him. Fingers crossed for him.
Definitely.
The next topic was, we just already talked about him, but Asmondian, another one of his amazing little guides. And this is something that, it's like you were just talking about, Jacob. It's one of those facts that there's probably a lot of people, especially those who just play the easy loot servers where loot is in abundance, but for the people who play vanilla and the more hardcore servers, it's one of those little things about DayZ. Now, I actually learned something from it as well, that I didn't realise that you could go above on water. I thought water it didn't work on, but you can actually cram in more food, and when you're full, that's not full. I knew that with food, but I didn't know it was with water as well.
I learned that today when I was looking at the agenda.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, the best way to do it, Val, as I understand it, is cramming cooked animal fat.
People say that is it 3 pieces of animal fat, 3 or 4 maybe, it'll get you to the point at which the arrow goes up, then down, then up, then down, then up, then down. And that's, I believe, when you're full. But I think it's probably the reason why you see so many new players saying, fuck me, I've got to eat every few minutes and I'm dying of starvation, when I think generally, unless you're playing harder servers, I think if you've played the game for a bit longer, you do realise that if you pick up a can of food, it's always best for us to eat it. It's obviously it saves on weight, and you can, at the same time, still get the benefit from the calories that you take it in. So,
but Brim, it's something that even the guys on the easy servers can use to their advantage if they want. If they want to go on a big long run of just PvP and not have to worry about eating, then do a little bit of hunting, get some animal fat, keep it in your base, and cram it before you go out and spend the next 3 hours running around without having to worry about food again.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I used to do back in the day. I mean, I still do it now, depending on what server I'm playing on. But like you say, it's a case of just cram as much food down as you can. Like Mike just said, you don't need to worry about taking too much food with you. Always take a couple of cans of, tactical bacon or something in a canteen. And like I say, I didn't know the full details of that tip until Asmondian put that out. I knew that you had a lot more reserves, behind the scenes than what you see in your UI when you see your food and drink full, until I became a server admin and helping my friend run his server. And I looked into the player management and I was like, hang on, I've just eaten like 2 bits of fat and downed nearly an entire cooking pot full of water. I'm full. But then it's still saying, less than the total amount. And I'm thinking, hang on, how much is going there? And depending on the tools the admin tools you use, you can actually adjust players' food and drink levels yourself, in the admin tools. And I just put both food and drink to maximum, and I thought on myself just to see what it was, and I was like, fucking hell, you can cram so much. And I just thought as soon as you get that stomach full thing, that's it, you're done. But I guess you're never too old to learn.
Yeah.
But this is exactly why I love DayZ, man. Like, there are so many things that you learn every day about it, and you think that you know everything, and every day you learn something new.
One of the things that's got us quite excited at the moment, Jakub, is that we've got Sumrak as the lead developer.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a very serious guy. You don't see
he's a lovely man.
He is.
I know that you guys haven't met him in person, but he's incredibly capable at his job. But he is also a very lovely man. I really like him.
I did a
spotlight. He was always like, he was always a highlight of company meetings, especially during the Corona period. When we had like the home offices and everybody had to call in for meetings, and like he would be giggling all the way through when he was presenting new features and so on. And just this little thing made the meeting bearable, you know, like because like it's work and you're looking forward to the meeting because Sumrak is there.
He's just one of the nicest guys. Like I got to
Yes.
spend, like even a little thing he did for me. Like I'm pretty much a nobody in the DayZ scene. I'm known by quite a few people, but I'm nowhere near the size of your Minders, your Tope Rex, your Running Mans, and Smoke and them. But I reached out to him because I wanted to do a spotlight interview on him because he's such a fascinating individual. He was the map developer or map designer at the time, and we all knew he was working on the Molsk map. And he actually said, "Boydie, I'll give you the footage." And I said, "Oh, okay." It's like a link to a video. And he goes, "No. I'll do a video for you, and you can upload it on your channel." And I was just like, "What? You do that for me? I'm a fucking nobody." And sure enough, he did. He did interviews later on with others, but it's to this day I'm still blown away by it.
I have good news for you. I think majority of the DayZ team, or at least good part of the DayZ team, is listening to the podcast.
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
kind of makes us feel good, Val Brim.
This is like podcasts are a great way to get information while you're working, right? You don't have to like 100% focus on this. And every time you release it, I could see in the monitors of the other members of the team that they're listening to it. So yeah, I think this is a great achievement for you.
That's actually kind of, I can see the look on your face, Brim. It's like, oh, really? Wow, I didn't think that, because it's not a massive audience, but we do it because, like we've got 23 people watching us at the moment, Jakub. But pretty much all of them are DayZ fans. And that's, I'm not arrogant enough to admit that I haven't stolen the idea. Like Barely Infected and Super FT LOL used to do one, which I don't know about the other guys, but I hung out for it. But they only did it like once a month or something. And I just felt that there was a need for... There's a lot that happens, whether it be stuff from the official account or stuff from the mods, just stuff that happens all around. So that's actually a pretty nice thing to know that they are listening to it.
I think, like I said from I think the first week that I was on, it's really nice to be part of something positive, because I think for the past few years, there's been so much bile and toxicity on social media about DayZ. Wrongly, obviously, a lot of it's been totally irrational, but it's an incredibly kind of fulfilling thing to be part of something that's genuinely positive. We don't sit here and slag off Bohemia or DayZ or the devs. I think we just try and we try and have constructive discussions, and if we don't agree with something, we'll say. But I think all of us and all the guests that have been on, we all try and be as positive as possible.
I'm having a chuckle, Jakub, in chat. One of our regular viewers is a guy called Dewan. He has a long and colourful history with DayZ. I don't know whether you've ever heard of the 420 servers back in the day.
No, but I can imagine what's happening there.
They basically somehow managed to get their hands on the files behind DayZ. And then they ripped them and they made their own modded server, and they had boats and vehicles and all this shit that wasn't even in the normal game. And he's now a good boy, and he makes some of the best servers out there. He's got the deathmatch server that you probably heard us talk about. He's a very, very good boy now, but he was a naughty boy in the past, and he's just... put a comment in there like, oh shit, the dev's watching. And yet we talk about it. Yeah. He's another guy who's behind the scenes and contributes a lot because he's a very, very skilled modder. So having him and BWAF Wee Devil, or Ben, the guy behind the Blue Waffle Attack Force, which I'm certain you've heard of, having them in chat really add to the collective intellect of the show. You've got the faces, the sexy guys, me and Brim, and Val's the brains, and those two.
And this is another proof that it doesn't really matter how big your audience is, but who passionate is your audience.
Yes.
Yeah. The passion and how invested they are.
Yeah. And that's what was great with seeing what you guys did. I know we're going back to the first topic and that, but the Twitter community in particular, Ben's written it in there, the DayZ community is unlike most other games. The people who are... I've had so many people. Like I'm running now with a few American guys who've all just reinstalled the game or just gotten the game. There's almost like there's a new life in DayZ that people are just So what? This game's still around? What? And it is better. It's still buggy.
I dare say that it's better than ever.
Yeah,
and I think that it was also like. Many different pieces of the puzzle clicked in at the same time, because, for example, Sumrak, started being the team lead. We also got like behind the scenes, super cool producer. Other people also, joined or like were added to the team, and something that you guys probably like are aware, but not maybe inside the game, is the marketing around the game has also improved a lot.
Yes.
So there are all these different parts, like moving parts, clicked in, and I think that you can see it on the numbers. Like DayZ is probably like living right now its renaissance. It has more players than it had in a long time, and it's reaching the levels of when it was launched for the first time. And this is something that like people see, because like, okay, we're saying that DayZ has more players than ever. They would always immediately go to Steam and check out like, hey, this is bullshit, like you guys had more players. But also add the PS4 players and the Xbox players and so on. This is a giant community right now, and people are enjoying the game like across the whole planet. It's really crazy. Like this is the best time to be the DayZ fan.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up now. The Steam chart is still pretty much just the same as it has been. That little peak there with 1.08, and that might have been the free weekend actually. And then it's just a little slight downward there, but nothing to make people sweat about. Do you guys did they watch the player numbers a lot?
Well, it is one of the key metrics, of course. We are always looking at the concurrent users, because that's something that is definitely telling us if we're doing something right or wrong, especially in the marketing area.
Yep.
So it is watched closely. Yeah.
I still
also, of course, we have even like more sophisticated analytical tools to look into what's happening on the consoles as well. So these numbers are watched very closely. Yeah.
So post-COVID, is there ever going to be a chance of a DayZ con?
I mean, I would like to do it, but I'm out of the picture at this point. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I would really love to do it, and if I was still there, I would definitely push for something like this happening. I don't know, because I think that there is a lot of risks involved, right? You can see it everywhere in today's day and age, where you have all these like big events, and people, because it's easy to say yes, I'm attending, but then it's more easy not to even attend.
Yeah.
So it's super difficult to predict if this event is going to be successful or not. I think that we could like talk about a real DayZ event if in the future there was DayZ 2, and DayZ 2 was even like at least the same success. It would be much more in the public's eye. You would have a much easier time getting sponsors and getting this thing floating. And but because I think that DayZ is like in this stage where it's just like the older guys are still playing it, and there are new guys coming in, but it's not in the public's eye in terms of there is not much media buzz around it.
Okay, chat only heard one thing you said then. DayZ 2.
Okay. Oh yeah, well, of course.
Apparently it's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
Now.
Yeah, I just confirmed DayZ 2, and I might as well confirm Half-Life 3. Yeah.
Everyone's pressing the clip button on the stream and getting straight on the Twitter to be the first person to confirm DayZ 2. But no,
I would like to confirm that, but this is a difficult question. But what I'm saying is that the possibility of events like this would be if we had media's support on our side, and which could create more buzz around it.
Like Ben said before, the community will be playing this game for a long time to come, I think. Many years of life left in it. Me personally, I don't think a DayZ 2 would be the right move. I think it would be... a lot of people would, quickly, the haters would be jumping up and down, going, see, they couldn't fucking fix it. The infusion engine was shit. They even admitting it themselves. I think just sticking with what we've got for the time being, maybe down the line. But DayZ just looks to me like the sort of game that can grow for, as Ben said, a number of years. What do you reckon, Brim?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Jakub in what he said, that we are sort of hitting that renaissance now with DayZ, where it kind of tapered off a little bit for a couple of years, where things were a little bit sort of, I think everyone got kind of bored with the 10-year beta or however long it seemed it was, and now we've got the 1.0 release again. Obviously now we're hitting 1.08 and we're soldiering forward. I think, like you say, I think we say it every week, there's a lot of life left in this old girl yet. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. And, I think that's something we can all be very happy for. I mean, I've only just sort of in the last couple of months of doing this podcast really started hammering down and getting well into the DayZ community. And, I was already in it to a degree, but now I'm streaming a lot more and, being more into it. It's definitely one of the best things going. And I can't wait to see what the future holds in one way or another.
DayZ forever, like June said, not a game like it. And that's it. It's got to be one thing, Jakub, that you guys were pretty proud of. It's kind of a running joke that we have on here that so many games have tried, but none have managed to beat DayZ at what DayZ does best. You've had Scum, which was massively hyped. Deadside, massively hyped. We've got Dead Matter coming. And they're all good games in their own right, but none of them have managed to topple the King.
I think they lack the unnamed thing, the X factor, right? And I also, the unpopular opinion here, I think that part of the charm of the game is also that it is not perfect.
Yeah.
That it is unexpected, and some of the moments are like, you wanna tear out your hair, but it is incredibly hilarious for your friends, So like this weird combination of super hardcore approach that nobody thought that would be possible, and the hilarious bugs and this X factor created something really special. And there is no wonder that it is beloved by many people, everywhere. It's like you can say that you like many games, but DayZ players, they love the game. They absolutely love it, and they give it a hard time because they love it. So this is also for a community manager, it is important to realize that most of the hate that you're getting is not because people hate the game. It is the exact opposite, in fact. They love the game so much and they're frustrated that it's not reaching its full potential.
We've always said, Val, that I don't have it against anyone who takes a break. Because DayZ, like you said, most of us are so passionate, aren't we, Val? And you just need to sometimes step away from it.
I think for me, some of the worst experience I've had have kind of been some of the most memorable. But I think if that was slightly different and the experience was maybe a bit different, I can fully understand why some people need a break. Because sometimes DayZ can be a bit, can be a hard mistress, and it can be, you can go through weeks and weeks and weeks of having just horrendous luck and feeling like nothing's going well for you. And sometimes, like anything, you just need to take a step back and have a breather. And often when you go back, it's kind of when you rekindle some of that love for it, really.
Yeah, and that, even then, like I mentioned before, I've been playing with some guys who haven't played in years, and they're all astounded at the difference. Yes, they're playing on modded servers, but probably one of the best things I had, Jakub, was when I did the interview with the expansion project guys. Thurston and Jacob Mango and Steve and them, and they all pretty much said that nothing they did would have been possible if it hadn't have been for the dev team. If it hadn't have been for the state of the core game of DayZ, nothing that they've done. And yes, I know it's kind of a bit of a joke. They've had some bugs with 1.08 and no fall damage and all the rest of it. But even still, it's just not just them, but all the other modders, even Dewan in chat says it, that, you know, he couldn't do what he's doing without the state of DayZ being where it is. And Sumrak and the rest of the team should be proud of what they've managed to achieve. I know it's still not perfect, and we don't like to call them bugs, we call them features. But, yeah, it's fucking just, yeah, it makes me sad when I see people hating for the sake of hating. I have to ask, how toxic were some of the people on Twitter?
Well, probably the first thing that I did when I started and first looked at the Twitter feed and the Facebook feed was that I applied some super hardcore filters, you know, and filled them with like the rudest words I could think of.
Yep.
And that made my job a lot easier so that I could, you know, because like you in this line of work, you also have to worry about your mental health, sort of,
yes.
You know, and like being constantly faced with attacks and hate can be really damaging to your mentality. So yeah, so this helped a lot, and afterwards I could focus on people who really actually were trying to propose some sort of constructive feedback or were just frustrated with certain things. And if people are frustrated, that's the best thing. That's like the best type of player that you can engage with, because you can get out of him the exact reasons why he's frustrated, and you can build on that. And also another really important thing in community management is that you are taking this not personally, but you're taking it all as really valuable resources for your work, because all this frustration is ammunition for the development team, which is then like addressing it and trying to prevent this frustration from happening again. Of course, there are exceptions, like things that are not easily fixed, like for example the desync, which is for me and from my experience the biggest issue that DayZ currently has, which is affecting a lot of the things, especially on console, you know, and missing items and flying cars and so on. But yeah, you have to like look past the hate and take it as something super valuable for your work.
Yeah, the mental health thing, I don't know whether Brim or Val, you watched the spotlight on Brian Hicks that I did, but he talked in there a lot about it. He copped some absolutely ridiculous hate.
He's still getting it.
Out there. Yeah, he still does, and even Dean Hall to an extent gets it. You know, people, he's talked about his new game that he's going to release, and then people go, how long until you abandon this game and go fuck off and climb Everest? And it's like, guys, just relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
I think, like I mentioned last week, and I kind of want to say again as well, I think people kind of forget that they're talking to real people on the internet, even if they're speaking to a community account or like a company account. I think people kind of forget that to say these things in real life are unacceptable. And like even just because you're doing it over the internet doesn't make it any better. It just makes it even more damaging in a way because it's so anonymous that there's no kind of perceived consequence, and it's obviously in some ways even worse sometimes. So it's, you know, I can understand why so many people's mental health is negatively impacted by online discussions. It's wrong, really, but that's people.
Ben's saying in chat there that he's had players threaten to send drugs to his kids and all sorts of stuff, so God knows the shit the devs get.
Dude, like there's been so much shit in the past, like for the DayZ team especially, like because one of the first things that I wanted to do is that I wanted to open up the development a little bit, you know, like show who's actually working on the game, present them what their, like, you know, accomplishments are and so on, and have them talk about their work. And they were very worried about it because in the past there has been a lot of, like, you know, threats and so on even. So yeah, you're right. People don't realize that they're talking to real people and that it's actually negatively affecting their psyche. And I'm just glad that this topic is currently like in the spotlight because with the streamers and with the content creators on YouTube and Twitch right now, people do commit suicide over these things, and they should not be taken lightly, you know. So just like before you type anything, just think about how it's actually going to affect the other person. You can really like this is it can ruin your day in the least. You know, it can ruin your month. It can ruin your life. So be careful about this.
It sort of touches on what we talked last week about. I don't know. I've been a lazy bugger and I haven't uploaded the podcast, but at the moment there's been a lot of people calling out other people for not making genuine, unscripted content and all the rest of it. And it's just, it really disturbs pretty much all of us who are in here. That did you need to call them out on it? There's a young lad, Milo, the average sniper. I don't know whether you heard about the controversy with him.
Yes.
He fucked up.
I watched it closely.
He fucked up right royally. He made a big mistake. But does he deserve to have people giving him death threats to, basically calling for him to be cancelled? No, he doesn't. And I copped shit myself. From people.
The thing that fucked me off so much about the Milo situation, I've not mentioned it on the podcast. I don't think I had some quite heated debates with some quite large DayZ streamers who were basically saying Milo deserves the backlash he's getting, and I was saying, well, fucking wait, this is a guy that's getting death threats and threats to dox him. So how fucking dare you say that he deserves the backlash he's getting? You may not be aware of that, but people listen to what you say and probably take it as some kind of influence from it. So I think people need to be a lot more careful as to how they bash people like Milo, and obviously more recently people like Anarchy.
It's fucking
common sense.
Culture. I hate cancel culture. I fucking hate it.
Yeah. I think for me the worst part of that Milo thing as well is like the thing he brought up in your Spotlight interview, Boydie, was he was saying that people were literally sending him messages saying, look, this is your mum and dad's address, isn't it? Like, I'm going to firebomb their house. And you think, for fuck's sake, what is wrong with you?
Pixels.
Like, it is
over pixels.
It's a video game. So, like, granted, he was a knob for what he did. He shouldn't have done what he did. And no one in their right mind is going to say that it was right. Not at all. But he didn't kill anyone. He's not a rapist or a murderer. He dicked about in a video game. And that's it. And people are threatening to physically harm him and his family, people that are innocent and had nothing to do with it. I think some people really need their fucking head looking at.
Yeah, they do. It's really, really sad the way people get like that. And, from people attacking the dev team through to people attacking content creators for, hopefully we can get past it, and this little bit of
horror. It's a lighter topic.
Yeah, we need to change the topic because it's such a scary thing.
I think one thing I will say.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mike just said.
No, I was going to change the topic.
My YouTube channel.
I just wanted to ask okay, I'm voting for changing topic, but at the same time asking one last question about it. Do you think that there is a way that this can change? No. What would need to happen for this to change?
No, it's an unfortunate side effect of society in general. Everyone, whether it be over a silly video done in blackface 2000 years like poor old Jenna Marbles, or what's the guy from Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. People just they want to feel like special little fucking snowflakes by cancelling someone and saying how much of a better person they are than someone else. It really grinds my gears. I've just done a fundraiser, Jakub, for a guy called Moonshine. He's one of my regulars in chat. He's a mod for me. He's a friend, and we've managed to raise over 1,500 Aussie dollars to buy him a new laptop. He's been down in his luck. One of the reasons I did it, and I said this when I first started it, was I haven't been a fucking angel myself in life. I've done some shitty fucking things, especially when I was younger. So I'm trying to make up for it now, to do things to better myself as a person. I love that saying that's out there. That's attributed to Muhammad Ali. A man who views the world the same at 50 as he did when he was 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. Sadly, there's so many young people out there, and even older ones, who just want to cancel, and be able to say, I cancelled such and such for a stupid mistake they made.
Yeah.
Val, you were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say that we were actually discussing a person, the not so saint mother, in the chat, right? So he probably wasn't the saint in the past, and he was like stealing assets or something like that from DayZ. But now he's creating mods that people are enjoying. So it's like saying that people cannot change. You know, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? I could pull up some of my Facebook posts or tweets from 20 years ago and be like, who is this person? Like, what am I saying? Like, it's not like something super bad. I would be so ashamed of it, like super cringe,
Yeah. I look at I watch a guy called Philip DeFranco on YouTube, and he talks about back in the day. I didn't watch him back then, but his SXE Phil, Sexy Phil, and he was a right fucking twat. Treated women like shit, and just even up until 5-6 years ago, he was still doing those tacky photo shoots with women in his office and stuff like that. How the hell he's still got a missus is fucking beyond me. If I was taking sexy photos of women in my bloody office, my missus would be walking in going, "Oh, you are copping the rolling pin to the back of the head, sunshine." But he says quite regularly, if I met myself from 20 years ago now, or even 10 years ago now, I'd probably punch myself in the face. Because he's learned and evolved. I've got some issues with some stuff he does, like the whole BetterHelp scandal, but as a person, though, you can't deny that he is a decent person, and he admits his faults from years ago. But does he deserve to be cancelled? Fuck no.
I think that the main problem with people like this is if you stay the same, and if you still have the same views, that is the real problem.
And there are some people, sadly, Val, and you probably would know some as well, who something happens in their life and that becomes the be-all and end-all of their life. I see it a lot with ex-soldiers. Their time in the military defines them and shapes them for the rest of their life. For me, no. The thing that defines me and shapes me is I'm a dad. I got to help create a life. Admittedly, it was 5 seconds of the best fun I've ever had in my life, but I've still got to be part of now being a father. Whereas some people, something happens in their life and they lock onto it and they never change, they never evolve, and they live in those glory days. Val, have you ever had people like that?
I think sometimes it's easy to blame past events for current behaviour in a way. Like I went through quite a lot of childhood trauma when I was younger. I'm not going to go too heavy on this, by the way, but I think when I was like a teenager, I was a right cunt, and I think I always blamed the past kind of things that happened to me maybe as a reason for that. But obviously, I think the older you get, and when you sort of mature a bit more and you realise that you make your own choices and you kind of try and better yourself, because the responsibility is on you, isn't it? So like, I think going back to what Jakub said about, do I think it'll change? Probably not, because I think too many people don't take that responsibility and don't kind of look at the consequences, and so no, probably not. No, but yeah,
I think that. Yeah. So sorry, I just think that just by us talking about it, we're doing a little bit of the work. So maybe I'm still trying to be optimistic and hope that this is going to eventually change. But just thinking that this is never going to change is not probably going to help anything.
Yeah, I think it's good to have some positive optimism like that. I think that's one of the things that will help to drive it forward and get rid of the hate and the shite that's in the world. I think it kind of goes back to that old adage: if you can't fight fire with fire, you can only fight fire with water. That's what. Well, I mean, obviously, there's a few other ways, but it's one of those things where you're not going to be able to just meet hate with hate. That's not gonna do everything you need it to do. So I think having people have that optimism and have that positive outlook, and then putting that into effect, like we've seen with the DayZ Twitter and things, it kind of I think that's a big help and a big stepping stone in the right direction.
Yes. And
having these open talks and being able to say, look, I'm not the best in the world. I'm not innocent. I've been a knob, but I've grown and I've moved on from it. I think personal growth is going to be the best way forward with it.
And that was something that probably I don't know whether it was intentional, but the way you handled the Twitter account couldn't have come at a better time. Yes, the player numbers were up, but the morale of the community was starting to sink a bit. And then all of a sudden, these funny tweets start coming out, and it just, it reinvigorated everyone. On this show, it was a highlight for us, and so much of a highlight. Like Brim said before, we made our own special segment, DayZ Twitter Watch, just to talk about the funny shit that we'd seen, and it added a lot of positivity. So I think we've just got to try and ignore these people who seem to thrive on toxicity and all the rest of it, and just try to focus on the good stuff. And
I think that we could probably close this topic on this, where no matter what your job is, you can always do something that is going to make somebody happy, right? Because the miserable bastards are going to be miserable bastards forever.
Yep.
But bringing a smile to somebody's face, you can do that in every single profession.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
I like that. Sadly, Ben couldn't join us tonight, but he had. He's in the chat. I want the background on this, Ben. I really want the background on this tweet. What is going on? What? There it is.
Yeah.
Finally popped up.
In the sky.
There's advertising your at DayZ community server. Then there's taking your promotion to sky's the limit levels. I like you even more, Jakub. You're a dog man.
There are currently 4 dogs in the apartments.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
It's too much. It's unreasonable.
A lot of people will be Googling our names tonight. Huge thanks to @LaserPromo. Check them out for all your laser promo on media needs. Amazing tech and reach. Blue Waffle Attack Force. But I do like Chris FPS's response. Hopefully they don't just search Blue Waffle only. Oh. Did you ever make that mistake?
You know someone has.
Have you ever Googled Blue Waffle?
I think I've seen it back in a long time ago when it kind of all first blew up. Never again, I think.
Yeah. Have you ever Googled it? Are you Googling it now? Are you cool?
Should I do it in a safe mode?
Do it.
Don't do it at all.
Yeah, it's horrendous. Don't do it.
Just don't share your screen with us.
Yeah, you're far too nice to be seeing horrific things like that. Don't do it.
All right.
And many
Thanks for warning.
images.
As Ben saying in chat, be careful, save yourself. But yeah, that it was a silly little thing, but I fucking loved it, and I love what Blue Waffle are doing. They're taking the marketing of their little community to the next level. The sky's the limit, and we sort of touched on it a bit last week as well with the whole. It's great seeing some people being able to make some money from DayZ, and we talked about it that it'd be great if BI worked a bit closer with some of these communities to help them to an extent. I know it's a bit of a risky thing, but yeah, it's fantastic seeing stuff like that. It's if it gets another handful of people, another 100 people checking it out and coming and joining DayZ, great. What else did we have? Someone did try something there. I just okay. Nope, no hair, no webcam. Nothing to be added. So the position for the marketing is still open-ish. Jakub?
Yes.
Yep.
As far as I know, yes.
As far as you know. But we've got Scotty filling it in at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Scotty is currently a super busy man because he has to do this on top of his regular work. But yeah, he is capable where he wants to be. So yeah, I believe in him.
Yep. Very, very excited to see what he can do with the account as well. Because, yeah, like we said, it just went fucking gangbusters and brought a lot of love back.
I think one thing we haven't mentioned about the account for me is that it seems that there's a bit more transparency in the things that may or may not be coming, because I think in the past, obviously we all saw Jakub's post on Reddit that kind of give a bit more transparency to the current situation and what may or may not be coming. But I think in the past, people have felt a bit frustrated that
Yes.
kind of they're not in the know, I suppose, as to what may or may not be coming. And I get the reason why Bohemia have always been, sort of kept the cards close to the chest. But I think in some ways, the little teasers that have been given to people over the past couple of months, I think has really been a positive thing for me.
It is difficult because you want to do complete transparency, but you cannot do complete transparency. So you have to meet it somewhere halfway, and you have to be very careful about what you reveal to the community, because sometimes, and especially for the DayZ community, which is like digesting your every single, or like they really like. They're dissecting. That's the word. Sorry, they're dissecting your every single tweet and every single statement, and they are able to throw it at you like years in the future. Like, hey, you promised this, and so on. So you have to be extremely careful about what you promise and what you announce. So really, like, I think that I hope that they will keep doing this. Is at least what they know is going to happen 100%. To share it and to really like excite the community for the future things ahead.
Because I know they probably still have nightmares over the 2015 roadmap, but the more information they can share, the better for everyone. It makes it easy for the modders, and I still kind of they said that there wouldn't be choppers, but I still kind of wonder whether one day we're going to get a patch update and it's going to be choppers. Are included, because it's something that Armour can't function without, and if they can make it for Armour 4, then sure enough it wouldn't be too hard, I imagine. And the expansion mod got choppers working, so yeah.
This is the single most unhelpful statement ever that can be said in the community, and this is like, I imagine it's not difficult. This is you get that every single day. And people who probably who just estimate things, how difficult they are. I can tell you that there are small features that people can spend months on, and they still wouldn't be perfect. And I was really like, this was one of the main things, because when I started, people warned me about like talking about the helicopters and so on. I'm not sure how much I can actually talk about it now, but hey. Because the devs are watching probably, but I'll try it. And it's I really admire what the expansion guys are doing, and thanks to them, DayZ has become something more. And this is the case of every mod. Every mod is going to take the game in their own direction, and I know that the guys on the team really appreciate that and want to give them as much help as they can to do that. And I talked to Sumrak about this, and he said that. Yes, we could do helicopters, but we would do them completely differently than the expansion guys are doing them, because they are doing them in like the easiest way possible. But if we were to do them, we would really need to create a sophisticated mechanic, how it works and how it affects everything in that world and is connected to everything, and of course like connected to the code as well and so on. So yes, I think that the helicopters could be introduced, but it would be a massive undertaking, and it wouldn't be something really easy to do.
And there's, as much as I hate to say it, there's more important priorities for the game right now than choppers.
I do think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, make the actual helis, not flying sedans, Dewan said in chat with a kappa. Dewan likes to shit stir the expansion guys, and Jacob Mango gives it back to him as well. It's quite funny to watch. Yeah. Okay. Community spotlight. So Foxy Pope posted that, big congratulations, Amish Z making it to being a partner. He's another guy who's been slugging away for years, and he's now finally achieved that partner status, and he's over the moon. And it's another great example of DayZ's dead. No, I don't think so. There are people getting partnered left, right, and centre, predominantly playing DayZ. So big congratulations to Amish Z. He's rated me a few times. I don't know whether he's rated either of you two, but he's just a genuinely nice guy. In the community. I've never heard a bad thing said about him. I don't know whether he scripts his content. That's between Amish and God.
But isn't this crazy? Like going slightly back to the scripting things, like scripting your content and like preparing it ahead of time and so on. It almost requires more work than actually like.
Yes.
So it, like difficult question, I guess.
Now we talked about it last week, Jakub. That was it, one of you two did a scripted video.
It was me. Yeah, I didn't do one, but I did put some work into attempting one. I did do some
and
stuff on the server, and then pretty much fuck this shit. I'm out. And to be fair, I've gone back to it now. The worst thing is it coincided with expansion and 1.08 coming out. I didn't expect either of those to come out, and I was in the middle. I'd already built a base, had an idea of what I wanted to do for the video, and I was like, right, I've just got a couple more things to do. I can get it filmed, get it edited, and get it out. It'll be brilliant. And then expansion released and 1.08 released, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, now everything's changed. Yep. So, but I have got a next one. So, yeah, well, don't apologise. Let's be honest. 1.08 and expansion have made it better. So, no need to apologise.
There is something that's probably going to make you feel better. The launch of expansion was a surprise to us as well. Because we were trying to synchronize the launch and so on, and we really were waiting for 108 to hit, and for the expansion guys to release after us, and we came to work this morning, and we're like, oh, it's out. So the communication there was fun, but I'm glad that it happened the way it did, even though that right after the launch there was like this period where nothing worked and so on. And I imagine like this is going to happen in the future as well. 109 is going to be the same. Things are probably going to be broken for the modders for the first couple of days, and they're going to have to work around the clock to fix everything. But I think that's the nature of the beast. It is going to be like this for the modders.
You actually touched on something there that I had a conversation earlier this week with a guy named Spud, who's the head of the DayZ Down Under community. And we talked about... some of you may remember, and this is probably going to be a huge can of worms, and I can see the hate coming into me straight away, but do you remember back when Steam released a change where you had to pay for use of mods?
Oh, yeah.
And it got absolutely shit-canned by the majority of the gaming community. I never really understood that. I personally have no issue with the likes of Dewan, with the likes of the DayZ expansion mod. I personally am a Patreon of the expansion mod. I think they deserve to make a few bucks for the hard work they put in. I know it's fan content, but you've got on one hand, you allow it to be a free thing done as a hobby where people don't make any coin from it. And you get... mods that are, basically the modder gets around to it when he's good and ready, or abandons the project and, never updates it so it doesn't work anymore, like some mods have had happen to them in the past. Or you make it a bit professional where, say, as a model that we discussed is servers subscribe and they pay a fee, maybe, $5 or $10 a month to be able to use that mod. And you get something like expansion mod, which has probably got, I'd say at a guess, 100 servers using. 100 times 10, that's 1,000. They're making $1,000 a month to make sure that their mod is professional. If the mod is not professional, people aren't going to pay for it. I know that opens up a whole monetization aspect with Bohemia, but I personally feel that a model like that would be more beneficial to not just DayZ but to games in general, allowing the people like Dewan and Jakub and all the rest of it who are fantastic content creators of their mods and that, but to take it to that next level of being a bit more professional.
I agree with you to a point where I think that this would also encourage a lot of people going into trying to mod for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
where they would be fueled by profit, and one of the most beautiful things about modders is that they are fueled purely by passion, and it shows in the final results most of the time. So this is an incredibly, once again, very difficult question, which I don't think that we will be able to resolve here, much like the cancel culture. But yes, the modders should deserve more for the work they're putting in. But also, we should be careful about presenting wrong motivation for people who want to get into it just for the money.
The one said in chat as well that it would encourage more content theft too, which we've talked about on this podcast before. But as Max says, passion doesn't pay bills.
Yeah, I think I think I agree with Dewan there. I think that we have talked obviously on previous podcasts about the issues of content theft, and I think the work that modders do is absolutely phenomenal, and a lot of us wouldn't be able to do what we do, whether it be just as players or content creators. A lot of us wouldn't be able to do what we do without the modders out there that do so much work behind the scenes. And like Jakub said, whenever obviously when 1.08 hit and mods didn't work and they take a couple of days to update, they are working around the clock, and 9 times out of 10 they're doing it completely free of charge. They're not doing it as part of a career, they're doing it as a passion project on the weekends type of thing. So I think it would be risky, but I think every modder deserves to have the opportunity to take donations for their work and things like that. But I agree, having it be a purely monetized thing would encourage more content theft, and that's obviously not something that we want in the slightest.
Ben saying there, the expansion Heli Thief made more selling his dodgy stolen mod in a week than expansion will ever receive in donations.
I think as well, for me, the risk is that I think if mods were compulsory to pay for example, I think that would potentially just increase the shit that modders got, because if people were paying for the product, like we spoke about a video last week on YouTube where somebody had said, well, thousands of pounds or dollars have been donated to the expansion team, yet how can they put out this unpolished mod? And I think that would just kind of increase 100-fold if people were paying. I think they'd just get a lot more shit.
Yeah. Like basically what you said, Jakub, it's a very complex issue.
Yeah. But I have to say that I think that the modders are a blessing of DayZ, and it is a really beautiful symbiotic relationship of the game and the modding community, where I think that the game would still be successful, but this is part of the charm that we were discussing previously, where you also have the option to try the game through different lens, through lens of somebody who wanted to create their own version of the game. And I'm super, super glad that I was able to experience the DayZ development from inside the house, where I know that there's so much love for the modding community, and there's a lot of support from the team side, so that the people can actually create their own things, their own worlds, and their own version of the game. So love both approaches from the Bohemia side and from the modding community.
Well, talking about versions of the game, Erno tweeted out, so Stalker's got a big update, and I released a trailer for it. Did any of you guys get a chance to watch it or play it?
I didn't watch it, but I did jump in on one of Minder's streams the other night, because he was playing and sat around for 10 minutes in his stream, had it in the background while I was doing 10,000 other things, and it looks like the Stalker stuff looks really good. I've got zero knowledge of the Stalker games and anything regarding that prior, but it looked really interesting. I mean, they had, from what I saw on Minder's stream, they had these green radioactive gas clouds that that were only the sort of the same size as sort of 2 or 3 people stood in a circle, and eventually they would dissipate and it would bring up some sort of artifact, and then you'd go and pick up that artifact and do whatever it is you do with it. And I think, like we said in the previous topic, having that variety, there is, I think we've mentioned it on podcasts before, where there is so much variety out there now. There is almost pretty much a server or a type of gameplay for everyone. So it can only be a good thing that there's more of this type of stuff out there.
Well, as Mondian made a comment on there, and you all know what I think of him, the work behind this mod is highly underrated in my opinion. There's some amazing stuff and a huge amount of work going on there. However, the Stalker universe has always been a bit of a cult thing, so might not be for everyone, but yeah.
I think with the Stalker as well, it's the target audience overlaps here massively because Stalker games are really adored, especially in Eastern Central Europe, and there is a giant like hardcore core of the DayZ community located in the same place, liking the same thing. So I imagine that this mod is going to be super successful in these regions.
Awesome. Brim, you made a post. What's the link for again?
I did.
Oh, yes, Shrooms returning.
Now, I want to preface this by saying I do not know whether he's coming back to DayZ. He might not be, so I just want to preface this. However, I think I mentioned him on this podcast a few weeks back when we talked about Wobo coming back. And I just think it's getting to that point now where we've got a lot of old school DayZ content creators coming back, whether it be to DayZ or just coming back to content creation in general. And I think it's such an exciting time to see a lot of these great content creators coming back. But on the topic of Shrooms and him coming back, someone replied to his tweet that he put out with the video saying rebooted. Saying, what can we expect to see on Monday besides your face? Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, DayZ? And his response was, I'm going to take my time and talk to you guys about my plans, and then you're going to have to see. Some quote-unquote back to the roots games are very possible, though. So maybe I'm looking into it a little bit much, but for me, that tells me that there is a chance of a DayZ return for Shrooms. And he is one of the first people that I discovered as a content creator back in the day when I first discovered DayZ, and I would sit for hours watching Shrooms play. And his sub alert was a song called Nuclear by a British singer called Mike Oldfield that my dad knew when he was younger, and it got me into that side of things as well. So the idea that there's even a remote chance that Shrooms not only is coming back, but then coming back to DayZ possibly, when you add that into Wobo and the possibility of Frankie making some sort of return, like the next 12 months in this community, regardless of content updates and mods and what have you, is just gonna be absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait.
Val, what about you, mate? What's your community spotlight for the week?
I think for me, it's quite not as explosive as that, I don't think, but for me it was I've just recently watched Sour Sweets, the first episode to a new series on YouTube that he's doing, and I've been a big fan of his content for quite a while. I think he makes some of the best DayZ thumbnails bar none. It's incredible, and his videos have always been really appealing to me, so it's interesting to see him doing a new series as well.
Who stood out for you, Jakub, as content creators when you first started looking at the DayZ content creator community? I know it's a bit of a loaded question, but I'm curious to see who really...
I have to be careful here. It's almost like you imagine where in a movie you get those like brown dossiers about certain things, certain people. So I was briefed about a lot of community members. Majority, like the probably the fattest file was Spaggy, and like
I can see why.
Have fun with this guy, but be aware that he's a troll, and he has been an absolute godsend. Like he's been supporting me all the way. Like we had DMs going, right from the get-go. I also was briefed about you, Boydie, of course. I was briefed about Minder. I'm not going to go into detail here. I was briefed about a lot of people, and so I had some sort of expectations going into it. But for me personally, who stood out just for the infectious personality and just joy to watch this man was Don, that you had on the podcast. Don Sibley. I just love the man. He has such a lovely personality, and it's just even watching his invites for the streams is a joy, Yeah. And it's I don't know. He has something that spoke to me. I also really enjoy Lax. and his like super crazy
Yep.
streams and so on. I really like Running Man.
Yep.
He has that fun uncle vibe, you know. So yeah, it actually like from work it became my hobby to watch these guys play outside of the working hours, and yeah, like I I'm just going to be like completely honest here. I was taken aback about how accepting this community was and how like the healthy core of the community sticks together and is supportive and they watch each other and they like each other and they like talk to each other and so on. And it's been amazing. Like there's nothing I can say about anyone that is super negative, you know.
That's awesome. It is, yeah, like we touched on, there's been a little bit of toxicity creeping in, but we're hoping we can stomp that out and just get back to focusing on the good stuff because, you know, DayZ is a niche game, a niche audience, and if we don't stand united, those of us who make content, mods, bloody run servers, everything like that, then what hope do we have for the game? That yeah, if the people join in and the first thing they start encountering is toxicity, then oh shit, yeah, don't want to be a part of that. We all know communities of games that have gotten very toxic, and how it's just not fun to play them anymore, or you know, it might be a server or even just a whole game. Ben's just saying we are in the BI database now. I wondered who those people were parked outside of my house with binos. Last question for you, Jakub. Namolsk.
Yeah.
When?
When it's ready.
Insider knowledge.
When it's ready.
When it's ready. Let's just leave it at that. But I can tell you that it's in good hands.
Oh, we know that. We all know that. And as much as, you know, it would have been great if we had it by now, having, you know, spoken to Sumrak myself, and just the vibe he gives off, the thing that impressed me the most was he said DayZ's not in a state yet to suit the game, to suit the server. When he gets it there, which makes me happy because ultimately at my core I'm a more hardcore player, prefer the harder, grindier servers, even though I've been plebbing it a bit lately and playing an easy loot server, but I'm very, very excited to see where he takes the base vanilla version of the game.
I don't know if I should talk about this, but there have been half jokingly, you know, said things around the office like, hey, you know, like, are we going to? Is there a chance we're going to make this like a DLC? You know, like, is it going to be that good? And people are started laughing and so on. But you could see like, maybe. You know,
we've hypothesized about that ourselves. That is the mod going to become an official DLC? Just because he's
I think it's going to. If not, it is definitely going to meet the quality. You know, because like from what I can say and from what my experience was with working with Sumrak is that he is a perfectionist. You know, and he really likes to work on the project until it's ready. And despite certain limitations with the releases of the updates and so on, he has been doing like as much as he could to release the update in the best state possible. So I have no doubt that Namolsk is going to be a big game changer for a lot of people.
Although I think a lot of people have got to remember that it's going to be different to what the Arma 2 Namolsk was. He's changed the law of the world. Just looking at what he's done with Chernarus, the changes he's made to the map on that, I'm very interested to see, not having played Namolsk myself, but to hear what the fanboys of Namolsk say when it's finally released. And I hit him up about every 2 to 3 months going, ready to talk more about Namolsk, mate? Are you ready to talk more about Namolsk, mate? As yet, he's declined. But when he's
you're like that donkey in Shrek. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
That'll do, donkey. That'll do, donkey.
That's got to be one of the best references I think we've ever had on this podcast.
I just got roasted.
Boydie the donkey.
Well, many a woman has called me that in the past.
No, I think you're mistaking it with them calling you a jackass, mate.
I got double roasted.
That's the quickest I've been with that in about 20 years, so I'm quite proud of myself, not going to lie.
It's not what your missus told me, mate.
Well done.
Oh!
Hey, there's still an open position for community manager at Bohemia.
Guys, thank you all so much. Any last questions? Jakub, anything else you'd like to add, mate? Anything we didn't touch on?
Not really a question. I would like to make a statement, probably.
Yep.
I'd just like to say that it has been a real pleasure to get to meet all of you guys in the community, and also to meet the dev team. And just for the future, I would just like to let you know that you guys are in a really capable hands. Like the team that I've met, they are professionals. They're veterans, and the most important thing for me is that they love the game, and you can see that from everything. Like every decision that they make is that to really like address the feedback and to make the game as good as possible. So I would just like to say that you guys have a lot of things to look forward to, because these guys are working hard on delivering much of what you guys expect.
Had a question from chat. Someone just wanted to confirm if there is only one software developer currently working on DayZ, not counting animation or map designers.
This is something that I really cannot talk about.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I can make faces.
I don't know. No, and look, if you could pass on to them as well. Touching on what you said before about, you said you came in, you wanted to help shine the light on the members of the team and that, and they were obviously a bit punch drunk from stuff that's happened in the past. Let them know that the majority of us out there, I know it's hard to say, ignore the trolls and all the rest of it, but it's one thing that we've loved, and being able to get you on this show, even though you're only there for a short time, but we want to know. Those of us who are passionate about the game, we want to know them. We want to hear from them. I do love the Bohemia interactive videos to meet the members of the team. Little things like that help personalise it. And, DayZ's a long haul game. It's not a flash in the pan 1 year game like a Call of Duty title. DayZ's a game that it becomes a bit more than just a game to the more hardcore people. And the more we get to know about you guys, the better. Another question, any internships soon, especially in map making?
I am not sure, but the only thing I can say here is I can recommend watching the Bohemia jobs page.
Yeah.
But generally, I don't think that internships are something that Bohemia is doing a lot, and I think that the best way to actually be part of any development team in Bohemia is to impress the company. Like many of the people that actually started working on the games that you guys enjoy started as modders, for example, and so on. So
Sumrak.
Yeah.
Sumrak's a classic example. Dean Hall. Dean Hall's another classic example.
The second best possible example, Dean Hall.
Yeah. Guys, thank you all so much. Jacob, Jacob, I called you bloody Jacob again. Jakub, thank you.
Hey, don't worry about it, mate. It's okay. I told you it's okay.
But no, thank you so much for coming on, mate. You really breathed a fresh air. You really were a breath of fresh air in the DayZ community. Helped to reinvigorate that poor old dog that was lying at the door, and it finally bit back, and fuck, we loved to see it bite back, mate. And I hope, whether it's Scotty stays on in the role or someone new comes in, that they carry on that legacy that you started, because it meant the fucking world to us to see our beloved old girl DayZ finally get up off the bloody floor and start delivering some jab punches back at people who, a lot of them fucking deserved it, and they deserved more than just a roasting. But it was really great to see.
Hey, that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll make sure to tell Scott to bite back.
Yes, definitely. We want to see it. We really do. We all love the game. You know, we'll poke at it when it makes its mistakes and all the rest of it, where it needs to be called out. But we want to see. Yeah.
I think that Scott is too nice, though.
We'll change.
I'm going to have to teach him how to be a bit of an asshole on social media.
Put him in contact with Ben Bewoff Wee Devil. He'll give him some guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much, Val. A pleasure as always, my man.
Thank you so much.
Brim, you're a legend, mate.
Lovely, thanking you. Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Never a chore.
They say.
It is. All the best, everyone, and ciao for now.